Oh, hi. I am Venkata Chaganti, President Vedas World Inc. Today we will be discussing about from where did Aryans come. So Max Muller's theory says that Aryans have come from Central Europe. But in this video we will prove that Arya is a word, it's a title called noble person, and the so-called Aryans, Vedic people, are from India. So they're not from elsewhere. They're not from Central Europe. They're not from Central Asia. They're from India. So that's the point that we are going to prove in this video. So please carefully observe what I'm going to discuss. We'll be talking about Brahma Muhurt now. So the Brahma Muhurt, which is very much famous in our Ayurvedic and our daily routine. Anyone who wants to do the Gayatri Japam and other things, they wake up at Brahma Muhurt, which is about 96 minutes prior to our sunrise. We'll discuss about that one in detail. So let's talk about something called as Brahma Muhurt, time of Brahma. That's said as time of Brahma, but it's not like that. But Brahma Muhurt means the time period, 1.5 hours before sunrise, or more precisely 1 hour 36 minutes before sunrise. So that is about two muhurts. Two muhurts means each muhurt is 48 minutes, so 96 minutes together, or four ghatikas. So or anything in the Vedic tradition, this period is considered as the ideal time for spiritual practices like prayer and meditation. So this is written in every Sanskrit book, more or less the same timing, depending upon the people who are writing those things. So we consider Brahma Muhurt as about 96 minutes. So you can verify from the Ayurvedic texts also the same time they'll be giving. So for the sake of getting up early in the morning and doing the rituals, whatever prayers and practices we have. So this 96 minutes is so important. So now the question is, what is this Brahma Muhurta got to do with the Aryans? So this picture shows clearly that the horizon and the daytime, sunrise, before sunrise, civil twilight. It's called in scientific terms civil twilights. So when the sun is 6 degrees below the horizon, and then that's called a civil dawn, and before that nautical twilight, which is 12 degrees below the horizon, and astronomical twilight, which is 18 degrees below the horizon. So night ends with the start of astronomical twilight. So we Aryas, we Indians have a tradition of getting a bit Brahma Muhurat, which is the end of the night and start of the astronomical twilight, which is at that time we get up and start doing our works and then pray God, do meditation, Gayatri, Japa, etc. etc. So this timing is very important for us. So this happens, the astronomical dawn occurs exactly after the end of the night and when the sun is 18 degrees below the horizon. So what? How does this prove that Aryas are from India and not from elsewhere? So that is very important for us. So please take a note of this, that the astronomical twilight which occurs at the end of the night and the beginning is called astronomical dawn. That is called the Brahma Muhurt for us. So we say the Ratri has completed and we start the sunrise, the dawn, but the sunrise has not occurred before, after the night ends and before the actual sunrise, the time we set as Brahma Muhurt, which is 96 minutes. Now, what that has to do with this particular astronomical dawn? So that we're going to verify now and see how it relates to Aryas and how different people in the world have this astronomical dawn. So, for your sake, I'm explaining this. I'm going to explain this particular globe that is our Earth. So, we scientifically divided. We means the scientists have divided. So, we are part of it. So, we call we. So, we all have understood that the Earth can be better explained by latitudes and longitudes. Latitudes are lines parallel to the equator drawn in circles at every 10 degrees. That is, from the center of the earth, draw a line to the equator and draw another line to some other place. Then the angle between them is called the latitude angle. So, that particular lines which are drawn parallel to the equator will be increasing, that is, the 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, up to 90 degrees at the North Pole. Similarly, below the equator, we have 10 degrees, 20 degrees, up to 90 degrees to the South Pole. These are called the latitudes. And the lines which are drawn from the North Pole to the South Pole parallel to each other, but they're separated by some degrees, is called longitudes. So, we can recognize any portion of the earth by latitudes and longitudes. For our case, latitudes are very important. So, which piece of country is in which, between which latitudes, that gives us a clarity about where India is, where Central Europe is. So, what this got to do with Aryans coming from Central Europe or not coming from Central Europe, that we have to discuss. And what this got to do with astronomical dawn, we will see that now. See, the Central Europe, so the claimed Central Europe, or the Max Muller's version that Vedic people have come from Central Europe, means they must have come from somewhere 50 degrees and 60 degrees latitude, you can see there. So between 50 and 60 to the right is Russian Federation, and to the left the North Atlantic Ocean. So between them, whatever portion, land portion is there, that's called Central Europe. So that portion from where, according to Max Muller, the Aryans have come to India and settled. That's what he called Aryan invasion, whatever it is. So we will disprove now that theory. So to disprove, we have to know where the Central Europe is. Central Europe is between 50 degrees and 60 degrees latitude north. So on the northern hemisphere, we have between 40 degrees and 50 degrees and 60 degrees the Central Europe. Now we got to know where is India. In India is in which, between which latitudes, that is very important. That we will see now. India's latitude will give us an idea about the Brahma Muhurt and what the Central Europe has and what India has. Does the Brahma Muhurt change from place to place? That's the question we're going to see. So you can see this India map between latitudes of 8 degrees north and 36 to 38 degrees north. So it is below 40 degrees north. So India is very well situated between 8 degrees north and 40 degrees north. It's below 40 degrees. So this is the a map of India and its latitudes. So Central Europe, we found that between 50 degrees latitude and 60 degrees latitude, but whereas India is below 40 degrees. So there's a 10 degree latitude gap between the geographical India and geographical Central Europe. So therefore, a very long distance. So what this got to do with the Aryan race theory, and the Aryas are from India, and what this got to do with astronomical dawn or astronomical twilight and Brahma Muhurt. So we have said Brahma Muhurt is 96 minutes before the sunrise, and astronomical twilight, astronomical dawn starts at the end of the night. So what this got to do with these latitudes, that's very important, and that's what we're going to investigate and see how the theory proves that the so-called Vedic people are from India and not from Central Europe. So there should be some connection between all these things. Max Muller probably didn't know that, so those Westerners just made their theories fatafat and said, okay, Vedic people have come from Central Europe, in order to put their history into our minds. Centuries together it is running. But the fact is, Vedic people are from India. We will prove in few minutes from now. See this. This chart is prepared by is from a scientist in Canada, and then the website is there. You can see what this indicates is the colors. These curves, what they indicate is, these curves indicate the astronomical twilight timing when it starts. That's those timings are depending upon the latitude of the Earth. So this side in the box you can see the color code and the degrees north. So if you match that one, India is below 40 degrees. So if you take the 40 degrees north latitude, that is between green and blue color, that's a mix of that. You can see that the timing is on the y-axis. The timing says that somewhere between 90 and 95 minutes, the astronomical twilight starts. If you see the curve, it goes to the maximum of 125 minutes on June 21st, and then again decreases back and goes back. Throughout the year it is given like that. So that's the timing for 40 degrees, but India is below that. So Varanasi, if you take somewhere about 30 degrees north or below 30 degrees north, Varanasi is. So if you consider the central India, that is the Varanasi is the hub of the Vedic culture. If you consider that, it will be between 30 and 23 degrees north. So if you see the 30 degrees curve, which is the red color from the top after the black color, the red color one is the 30 degrees curve. So if you see that the maximum time on June 21st is about 98 minutes, which is the Brahma Muhurt. So it clearly indicates that the latitude, depending on the latitude, the Brahma Muhurt, if you take it according to this chart, then the astronomical twilight and Brahma Muhurts have a timing less than 98 minutes for the red colored one, which is for 30 degrees north latitude. So any country which is in the 30 degrees north latitude are supposed to have a Brahma Muhurt of 98 minutes. And according to Westerners, the Vedic people have come from the Central Europe, which is between 50 and 60 degrees. And if you see this, for 49 degrees north is given, and above that, northward equinox, north, solstice, etc., are given. So if you see the dark red color one, which is at the bottommost curve, you can see it's going beyond 180 minutes. So that means as you go north, beyond 49 degrees, if you go, the astronomical twilight timing increases beyond 4-5 hours, which is never written in any Sanskrit textbook that we have a Brahma Muhurt about 4-5 hours before the sunrise. No, in all Sanskrit textbooks we have that before sunlight Brahma Muhurt is about on an average 96 minutes. So therefore, if you consider this particular thing, our Aryans belong to India and not Central Europe. If they were to come from Central Europe, they should have written 5 hours of Brahma Muhurt before sunrise, which is not the case. So all Aryans are from India. Some people may claim that from Central Asia, but we never said that we have from other than from the India anywhere else. These Westerners want to make somehow deliberately that Aryans invaded India and thrown away Dravidians. No, we all who are in the geographical India, they belong to Arya. And if you want to call you are a Dravidian, that's your business. But we all are Aryans. Arya means noble person.